Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. All right, got a good lesson to talk about today that I had with one of my regular students here, Dr. A. And he's been with me for a number of years, and naturally he found Swing Surgeon and Peak Performance after going over to a rotational swing. And a lot of the problems we fixed really quick. He was really long, big turn on this side, big turn on that side, and we got a lot of that fixed. And he got down to 3/4 really nicely, club up, pretty vertical and everything else. But the problem he had was I just couldn't really get any acceleration in his forward swing. And that's one of the big issues I hear a lot, and I hear a lot from Surgites, and I see from Surgites in the golf schools. And I think it's part of it is just the fact that you have to remember that your arms can move independent of your body, right? Just like I could stand here and I can just lob a little ball to the camera, right? Just toss a little one, it's very soft, and I can toss a little bit faster, and I can toss a little bit faster, and I can toss it real fast. I don't know if you noticed it, but my whole body starts to get quieter because I need more stability to swing my arm faster and for it to be controlled. So my body has to really start to firm up. And the way we do that is with the wide knees outward pressure. We get that wide knees outward pressure, we stay stable. So when we transition, that's what keeps us here at the ball. But Doc always had a problem. He just couldn't seem to accelerate. And I saw it, and we'd work on it, and it would get a little bit better, and then it would deteriorate and go away. And naturally, I film him every time, and I saw something on one of the days that in our last lesson, and he still basically had the problem of that his arms couldn't accelerate once he dropped, and then there was just no acceleration, and his arms just looked like they were lazy, and the club was way too heavy for him. It's like he's trying to swing a sledgehammer. But on that day's when I filmed him, I noticed that when he transitioned, he was moving a little bit ahead of the ball, and when you get ahead of the ball, it's pretty hard to let your arms straighten out and get down to impact. And so when I noticed that, I said, Doc, we got to make sure that you stay behind the ball, right? We have to stay behind the ball. When we ring the bell and bump, as we go forward, the lower body runs away towards the target. At the transition, the upper body gets the secondary spine angle tilt, which gets us behind the ball, which allows us to our arms to both straighten up at impact coming in. So we straighten up at the ball, and then from there we just swing on up and over to the finish. We started working on that, and I mean, it was like night and day once he got going. And remember, I know all of you, the one issue many of you say, and I hear it at every golf school and almost every private lesson, is I can't bump. Well, just remember, if you're aiming to the right, you can't bump. Because if I'm trying to hit the ball at the target, my parallel left body has to be left of that target, being the camera. It has to be parallel left. If I'm aiming out to right and I bump, I'm going to be over here hitting the balls into the house. All right? So you have to be left, because the bump first starts when you bump. You actually turned a little bit, you bumped on that line, and then you turn. All right, so the bump is a lateral left shift from the very top of the backswing with the very little leg movement we've had because of the wide knees outward pressure, and it's going basically at the target, and then we turn and finish up and swing up to the finish. So if you're trying to bump and you're aiming to the right, you're in big trouble. If you're trying to bump and aiming to the left, you could possibly still bump, but you're going to hit a lot of serious pulls. Or then hang on, or when you sense that you're going too far left, coming in, approaching the ball, you might hang on and then hit anything from thins to blocks. So that's why alignment is always critical, and we mostly always start every daily with a swing question, having to say alignment's one of the issues. But the big key here is that you have to remember, once you do that bump and you transition and you start swinging down, it is incumbent upon you, the golfer, that this club will only move if you make it move. You have to swing your arms faster. All of the rotational swing has your body pulling and creating 80% of your arm speed through the body pulling the arms, and the arm kicks in another 10 or 20%. Well, that day, Harold crossed the line, and he flipped those numbers. He flipped those numbers down. When he started staying quiet, he flipped them to where that the body being still was only putting in 10 or 20%, and instead his arms were speeding up and creating the other 80% that he needed to hit the ball the peak performance way. Okay? Your arms, you could swing them at speeds, but you got to make them go faster if you want to hit a golf ball. All right, so don't forget, you got to swing. You have to swing your arms faster with the quiet body to hit the ball solid and straight and shoot those lower scores. That's it for the search for today, and I'll be speaking with you all again soon.